Howdy. It isn't too long ago when I made this video,
which throws up many questions. But nonetheless, published Thursday, January 5th, 2023. Health and wellness. I'm a psychology expert in Finland. The number one happiest country in the world. Here are 3 things we never do. For 5 years in a row, Finland has ranked number 1 as the happiest country in the world, according to the World Happiness Report.
Okay, there has been some days ago other news from Finland as well. Let's check them out. Yle, which is a national news broadcast. Ministry report. Finnish education levels stagnant. Learning outcomes in rapid decline. The learning outcomes and educational achievements among young Finnish people has dropped since the heyday of the early 90s, the study found. File photo of students preparing to sit an entrance exam at Aalto University. 12th of January. Education levels in Finland have remained stagnant since the 90s, and young people's learning outcomes have been declining steadily since at least the turn of the century. Social and gender gaps in learning outcomes and educational achievement have widened. That's the bleak picture of Finland's education system painted by the Ministry of Education and Culture's Bildung Review, published on Thursday. The latest stage, which began in the 90s, is characterized by a decline in the achieved learning outcomes, the plateauing of the rising level of education among Finns, as well as a gradual decrease in public input into education, the report stated. The Bildung Review provides an overview of how Finnish education and student development has fared over the past few decades, and the results show a notable decline from the highs of the 90s. We are no longer the most educated nation. Our young people are no longer the most knowledgeable. You might think that big and quite radical changes would have to be made. Anita Lehikoinen, permanent secretary at the Ministry of Education and Culture, said in a reaction to the review results. Learning outcomes in rapid decline. Although the level of learning outcomes achieved by young Finnish people remains high in many internationally comparative studies, the decline in Finland has still been noticeably rapid. Learning outcomes are defined as measurable standards that determine what students should know or be able to do as a result of taking a course or completing a program of study. We do not know exactly what factors are responsible for the decline, of course. It also raises questions about how well we understand what factors led to such good results in the first place. According to the report's author, Aleksi Kalenius, a special advisor at the Ministry of Education and Culture. Anita Lehikoinen, permanent secretary at the Ministry of Education and Culture, and Aleksi Kalenius, a special advisor at the ministry, presenting the results of the study. Toni Määttä made the picture. Previous studies have shown that the decline in reading and mathematics skills is equivalent to more than an entire year of learning, with some data even suggesting 2 years. This means that, for example, an average 15-year-old's reading skills today are equivalent to those of a 14-year-old or even a 13-year-old in the late 80s or early 90s. The decline can be at least partially attributed to cuts in education funding and the subsequent tightening of resources, especially during and in the immediate aftermath of Finland's deep recession in the 90s. Resources fell by about a quarter and have never recovered to their previous levels, Kalenius noted. Educational attainment drops by international standards. Finland's decades-long rise in educational attainment levels shuddered to a halt after the 90s. When compared internationally, the level of education in Finland has slipped since the heydays of the 90s. For example, the percentage of people with higher level qualification has not risen in Finland since that time, while other countries have seen significant progress. In 2020, we were well below the OECD average between Chile and Turkey. We have not seen an absolute deterioration since the early 90s, but everywhere else the rise of educational attainment has continued, Kalenius said. No, Finland is here, 40%, whatever that means. Previous studies have also shown that measures aimed at rising educational attainment levels have a significant knock-on effect on future economic growth and the economy's dependency ratio. Even a decade ago, attention was drawn to the fact that the higher the education, the better the employment and career prospects. This has been a known fact, but there has been no social consensus that we should invest more boldly in raising educational attainment, Anita Lehikoinen noted. Finland's best educated were born in the 70s. So, I just want to state quickly, this doesn't really relate to this, but I haven't been in school in Finland. I moved here some 16 years ago. In 2 days, it's exactly 16 years. I went to school in Switzerland, and I got taught basically the same stuff that they got taught here. And you cannot blame me for my bad English because, it's not my mother's tongue, nor did I have any special education on it or whatsoever. But I just wonder now, after almost 30 years, to figure out, our educational system sucks. People don't learn anything. And if they learn something, mostly it's wrong. They are like in the wrong paradigm. But anyway, let's just continue. According to the ministry's report, the most educated age group in Finland are people born in 1978 or those who are currently aged 44, 45. Yes, I'm born in 77. People born after 78 have not achieved the same high level of education. No, I'm a construction guy. I don't have any better education. I'm not educated at all, so I don't count in that at all. I don't know if I'm educated. I'm just very curious. I just want to know. I have many questions. But anyway. However, according to Aleksi Kalenius, the measures taken over the last 10 years have helped to close the gap. It now looks as if the very youngest age groups will in time reach the same level of educational attainment as the age groups born in the mid-late 1970s. There is a generation-wide gap in education in Finland. Or probably all over in the Western civilization. America, England, Europe, Australia, because of certain paradigms which are related to Christian church and such. Peer-reviewed science, scientific ignorance. This was also noted in the Ministry of Education's report. The favorable development in the initiation of higher education studies seen in the latter part of 2010s has led to those under the age of 28 being more highly educated than in 2020, than in 2010. It looks as if the age groups born in the 90s may end up having a higher level of education than those born at the end of 70s, the report stated. Yeah. Really? That, you would somehow assume that science progresses, they learn stuff, so the education level would be higher because more got learned, but they are teaching the same things in school still. Galenius also pointed out the need for higher education to be expanded in different ways, but added that the results would only become apparent years in the future. Simply increasing the number of starting places in practice the most important way of increasing the number of people with higher education, he said. Yeah. I started off with my own video. I wanted to show another one quickly. That's an earlier video made some half a year ago or something. It has the name "For Free is Too Expensive." We see the University of Eastern Finland. Yeah. University of Eastern Finland. You might want to check it out quickly. It's, it's all up to you. But I think that it's totally possible to educate yourself for free. I think it's Yes, Simeon. I think it's totally impossible to share information and knowledge basically totally for free. Yeah, you probably need some internet and electricity, but otherwise not much else required except interest, an open mind, and the will to learn. If you don't have the will to learn, your mind won't be open, you want to learn anything, you will stuck in whatever beliefs you are in now. In order to make or to create some kind of opinion about something, first you have to learn something about it. It takes every now and then time in order to get into something, but it's worth it. Maybe at one... No, he doesn't really care. But, if there is no will to learn, your mind won't be open to get anything in. There is nothing going in. If there is no input, then you won't get anywhere. If you are interested about any topic, whatever topic, read about it, learn about it from as many sources as possible. Whatever you read, take it as an inspiration. As more information you gather about a certain topic, the more possibilities you get for your own to make comparisons, to think about it. Does it make sense? If it doesn't make sense, it might be wrong. Let me take one example. Black holes. They haven't found yet black holes, but there has been news about it. Now we found 75,000 bright black holes. Does this make any sense? A bright black hole? No. No. No, it doesn't. Never will. So there might be something wrong in that paradigm. But anyway, I'll leave it here. After 20 or 30 years turn out that we aren't, like I say now we because I live here. Obviously I'm a part of it, so we aren't as well as educated as previously thought. Is there any possibility that one day it turned out that we aren't as happy as we thought? It was all just this kind of, propaganda, commercial, whatever talk in order to, keep the control. But what do I know? It's just very interesting. I try to somehow show them, tell them stuff I learned by myself, totally for free. I would have done it for free. They didn't want to. They denied. Not possible. Totally impossible. Totally impossible. And now they are really sad because now our educational system sucks. Yeah. Some 500 million euros they had money in order to create whatever university facilities. And I offered them a part of things I had about my first paper, about geology, history, mysticism, the role of electricity in everything, the meaning of the lion in the Finnish flag, which no one knows. The Ministry of the Interior doesn't know where it's originating, but they have this specialist working there. They are saying on their page, we don't know where it's originating from, but we have this specialist. How can you have a specialist if you don't know? What? But anyway, interesting times. Thanks. Bye.